As all of you know, British Columbia is going through an incredible skills shortage right now, where we have literally hundreds of thousands of jobs across the country and throughout British Columbia that are going unfilled. And we have an enormous pool of potential talent in our skilled immigrants that have immigrated within the last 5 years, beyond that, but certainly within the last year or two. The common thread for many of these individuals is that they lack a key component of education and training to be able to successfully transition into the Canadian labor market. And so that's why I'm thrilled to be joined today by Min Cho, who is the Marketing and Outreach Officer for the Foreign Credential Recognition Loans Program, which is operated by PICS, the Progressive Intercultural Community Services. Welcome, Min. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you, Christian. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. You know what I love about your program is that it provides people with a tangible way of being able to get their credentials recognized in an extremely affordable way. So can you tell us a little bit more about your program?
Yeah, thank you. So FCR stands for Foreign Credential Recognition, and this program is fully funded by the federal government of Canada to help skilled newcomers to get back into their professional field or alternative related field. So let's say if a doctor from back home country wants to be a doctor here in British Columbia, they will come here, but they realize that the credentials are not verified. So they end up getting a survival job or dead-end job, even though they have plenty of experience in their field. That's where our program comes in. And once they register with us, our counselor will meet with them and then support and create an action plan together based on their short-term goal and long-term career goal here in British Columbia. So based on their action plan, we provide mentorship program comes in, volunteering and networking. And the side, that's called support services. So support services, which includes the workshop, so job readiness workshops for them as well, which includes a resume building, LinkedIn workshop, workplace communication skills as well. And the other side, the whole purpose of this program is a loan program, right? That's when the financial support comes in. Sometimes registering for the regulatory bodies or taking an exam can be very expensive. And those skilled immigrants, newcomers, has already spent plenty of money to come here. And they don't have enough money to register with the regulatory bodies. So they take a loan from us, and we provide a loan, multiple loans up to $30,000. Then once the loan program is a little bit different from the traditional bank or the credit unions or student loans, because this is based on the character assessments. Some new skilled immigrants come here, and once they land here, they don't have a credit history in Canada, but we do provide a loan for them to succeed and upgrade themselves, so then they can go back into their field and start contributing to the British Columbia economy.
You know, that's terrific. So you said the upper end is about $30,000. How small could a loan be?
So the minimum I've seen in this program was $1,000. So our loan manager, she would not recommend each client taking $20,000, $25,000 at once, because that's already giving a stress for them, a financial stress, even though while they're going through their credit process. So our team recommends our clients to take one at a time. So let's say this first exam cost $2,000. So okay, then let's take 2 or 2.5 grand and then start from there. Once they finished, they can take another loan again, because it's a multiple loans up to $30,000. So each person can take up to $30,000 within 5 years of this program.
Out of curiosity, in terms of one of the things that I thought was a real distinguishing factor of the SCR program is that it's very affordable. So when a person takes out a loan, when does it need to be repaid? What is the typical interest rate, and how long a period of time do people have to repay it?
So the repayment can vary depending on the client, but they would just only have to pay by 2028. So 5 years from now. So let's say one person came today and took $5,000 with us. Yes, that person the repayments can be 1 to 5 years. Okay. And we do have interest rate, but it's only at prime rate. Yes.
Okay, no, that's fantastic, and to be able to get it at the prime rate as well.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what do people pay for? I know some of the things that immigrants struggle with is getting their credentials recognized or taking a little bit of training that would be necessary or key components, credentialing process. What sort of things are people typically paying for?
So when people take loans from us, they usually take it for either to register with the regulatory bodies or registering for the exam fees, travel expenses, or living allowance because right now living allowance is really expensive here in British Columbia right now, and they still do need some financial support. So I've seen a lot of clients taking loans for the to feed their family and rents, to pay the rents. And at the same time, I've seen one client, this international student came and said, I left the laptop in the bus and I do need a laptop to finish my assignments. Took the loans from us and went to Best Buy and got a laptop. So yeah, however they use that loans for, if they can tell our counselors that they are going to use this money to upgrade themselves, then you can do it.
It seems like there's a lot of latitude. I
Yeah.
I know we're going to be talking about doctors and nurses quite a bit, but are those the only professionals that you typically find? Like, what sort of skilled immigrants are typically coming to you?
Yeah. So the top three sectors, right, are from our previous FCR program was number one was health sectors. Second was the education, no, technology, and third was the education sectors. And along with that, we do still support lawyers and accountants and others. And in the technology sectors, we have helped out civil engineers, people in IT security, and in the education sector, like professors, teachers, early childhood educators, any kind of doctors or nurses like registered nurse, LPN, HCA, midwives.
You know what I like about this is it really addresses the skills piece. So often I've like in my career in career development, I've seen where employers just have this expectation of Canadian experience, and so even a person could get that credentialing piece. But now with the skills shortage, it seems like employers are much more willing to hire internationally trained professionals. But it's the challenge of getting their credentials recognized. I have a good friend. She and her husband were both doctors in China. They came to Canada through a circuitous route that took them through Europe before they were able to actually immigrate to Canada in the end. And I asked her, at what point did you realize that you couldn't practice as a doctor in Canada? And she said she had already been in Canada for months by that point. And so I love the idea that you have professionals. It's not just a loan program, fill out an application, we'll give you a loan, that you have skilled professionals that are helping people and helping them guide them through the process. What does that look like?
Yeah, so in our team, we have a career and financial counselor along with the employment coach and a manager. So our employment coach and manager, she would typically focus on each client's job readiness skills. Yeah, even though they have plenty of experience in their home country and they can use it here, but the soft skills are required in Canada. And I know a lot of employers are looking to hire a worker, employees with the Canadian experience. But I personally and our team find that Canadian work experience equals soft skills that they know about the Canadian workplace culture and the standards. That's why our team is here to help each of their clients to accept the job and their career transitions are smooth. So basically, we're providing them with the workplace communication skills, as I mentioned earlier, how to communicate with your boss, how to email your coworkers, stuff like that.
No, excellent. Is it often the case where a person's getting what they had done in their home country, the pieces that they need to get to what they've done, or is it often about sort of transferable skills? So if a person, like there isn't a pathway for them to being recognized as a doctor in Canada, but they would prefer to end up working in a complementary profession, how often does it go one way or the other?
Well, I know a lot of clients first come to our program and says, I was a professor in India,
Hmm.
and I want to be a professor here. But sometimes they realize that the process and the pathways are really challenging. It's time consuming. So they they do a career transition where they switch to maybe primary school teacher. or early childhood educator. So I've seen a lot of clients do that. Just not just because the challenges that they have to face, but it's a lot easier for them, and that's their short-term career goal. In the long term, they can say, yeah, my long term is to become a professor, so I'm gonna start working from here to the end. I know one client, she came here as a PR. She was a nurse in Philippines. She came with us, and we gave them a three pathways, either to become an RN, LPN, or HCA. Um, when she saw the pathway and took the exam and followed according to it, the degree was not so uh, comparable to the Canadian standards. So she chose the HCA pathway, and she started working as a she's currently working in Fraser Health right now. But we do still contact with her, and she said she's not done with her long-term career goal, which is to become a registered nurse. So she will come back with us after she had gained some few experience and then start working towards her long-term goal, which is to become a registered nurse in British Columbia.
That's terrific. I mean, I think we all know the stereotype of the skilled immigrant who comes here. They're very educated, they're very skilled, and their skills are
Right.
not being used at all within the Canadian labor market. So it sounds like one of the chief objectives of the program is really to make sure that people are making the best contribution to our labor market that they can and for their own lives. We don't want to see
Yes.
skills that are going unused, especially when we have a healthcare system that's struggling right now.
Right.
So speaking of a healthcare system, Pix approached me a few months ago and said, we want to host this conference. And it's called, I got to get the name right, the Health Sector Conference for Skilled Newcomer Doctors and Nurses. We're doing this on June 28th at the Croatian Cultural Center. I believe it's 9 to 3:30. And we'll include a link here for people to be able to register if they'd like to attend. It's in person and lunch is being provided. And the idea is to hear from industry experts and people who've gone through this process to get a sense of how this program can assist you, but also where is the healthcare sector going? So I'll be moderating the session and doing a presentation on the outlook for BC's healthcare sector. But what do you see as the major benefits of attending the conference for not just skilled healthcare workers who are newcomers, but also career professionals who might be attending?
Yeah. So basically, we are focusing on health sector during this conference, but those people who are attending will have an opportunity to learn the navigation pathway for each profession in specifically for health sector, and then opportunities to connect with the BC regulatory bodies and gain a direct mentorship opportunities because we're going to have 3 to 5 counselors on the conference with the separate booth in the hall where attendants can go talk to the counselor, learn about their specific pathways and how FCR can help and what are the benefits of taking this program. And they will have they will gain the networking opportunities and along with the volunteering and able to learn about how FCR can help each skilled immigrants or newcomers.
I think this event is incredibly well timed, especially since the federal government has doubled the number of immigrants coming into the country on an annual basis. And
Right.
we certainly through the pandemic in the last 3 years have seen how the healthcare sector is challenged. Is there any charge for people to attend the conference?
No, it's totally free.
Mm-hmm.
As I said earlier, this program is funded by the federal government of Canada to help the skilled immigrants, skilled newcomers. So this conference is free and it's going to be in person at Croatian Cultural Center.
And I've been to the Croatian Cultural Center and I've held events there too. And it's actually really convenient to get to. It's about 7 blocks north of Broadway or the Commercial
Right.
Drive SkyTrain station. We
Yes.
will. Is there anything else that you feel like people should know about either the FCR or the conference before we wrap up here?
So yeah, FCR, the registration is free and the eligibility of this program is pretty straightforward. If you are residents in BC who are entitled to work here in British Columbia, you're eligible for our program. So this includes permanent residents, Canadian citizens, protected person, and we added temporary residents. So this can include international students or work permit holders. So a lot of internationally trained immigrants come here as a study permit too, because they already know that the pathway is going to be hard. Their credentials are going to be very challenging. So they start getting a degree first in the Canadian university. So they come here as a study permit, but we are now supporting and helping the international students as well. So basically study permits who are entitled to work here in British Columbia full time.
And honestly, having worked in the industry for a couple decades now, this is new territory. Like historically, international students haven't been eligible for these sorts of things. So
Exactly,
I'm
yes.
I'm thrilled with where we're going. We have, when it comes to immigration in Canada, we have a very skills-based, labor market-focused approach, and I think the FCR is a great illustration of that. And if any of you are interested in the FCR, they will be able to provide you with information one-on-one at the conference as well. Ben,
Yes.
thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you,
As I
Christian.
said, we'll have a link here to attend the conference, but also anybody who's interested in the FCR. Otherwise, I will see you June 28th at the conference.
Yes, thank you. I'll see you on June 28th. Thank you, Christian.
Thanks.